Good
This
evening.
conference will now be recorded.
All right. Good afternoon. The time being 4:48 p.m. I'd like to call the meeting of April 1st, 2021 to order. Before we get started, if you are joining us virtually, please mute your microphone during the meeting unless you would like to speak. Otherwise, background noise will interfere with the meeting. Because space is limited due to social distancing requirements, we are providing access to the meeting via telephone and the GoToMeeting platform. Members of the public wishing to attend this meeting via phone may call the following conference call number at 1-866-899-4679, access code 817-026-717. Members of the public wishing to use the GoToMeeting platform may access the meeting remotely using your smartphone, tablet, or computer at global.gotomeet.me /town of Tilton /selectmen. This information can also be found on our website at tiltonnh.org under meeting schedules and agendas, Board of Selectmen. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to
the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Play ball.
Yeah, opening day, isn't it?
It is.
All right. First on our agenda, review and approve the minutes from March 25th. We have a small correction.
Five under Kevin Duval, the last paragraph. Last paragraph where it begins, Kevin reported. I'm sorry, I was supposed to. My mic wasn't turned on, I'm sorry. On page 2 of 5, paragraph, Kevin reported he plans, the second sentence, Selectman Constantino asked Kevin if the senior center front door could be painted and front porch repaired. It's not the porch repaired, it's the front door and porch painted.
All right. Any other corrections, suggestions?
Make a motion to accept the minutes of March 25th, 2021 as corrected.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please vote by signifying aye.
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 Opposed? All right, moving on. Meet zoning board candidates. We have two zoning board candidates before us. Two. We have Ann Miranda and Brian Pease. Both of you are right there. I think for social distancing, we're going to do, we have two microphones. We have a second microphone. We only have one microphone. Yeah, but then you can't speak. Okay. So if we wanted to put one at the table so they don't have to share the same microphone. Unless they live in the same house, which they don't.
Yep.
Do you want me to take it?
No, why don't we have them come up? This way they get to go on camera.
They get to be on camera, yeah.
Yeah. This way the public can see who is interested in serving the town.
Mr. Chair, do you know how many positions are available?
He knows.
Okay.
Are they full positions or? Okay.
Okay, I have a general question, if I may.
You may.
The zoning board is a lot of ordinances and very legal, important part of the town boards. And I was just wondering if either of you have experience, and if not, will you be willing to learn? Ladies first?
Oh, okay. Well, years ago, I worked at Third District Court in Massachusetts, so I'm a little bit of the law, but it has, yeah, but I'm willing to learn.
And do I have to push any buttons? I'm willing to learn as well. My background is more in construction and DOT, retired, but not in the legal aspect.
Very good.
Practical is good.
Practical, yeah. Life experience. Yes, ma'am.
Perhaps maybe we can ask them to just give us a little, tell us a little bit about
I
themselves.
was just about to do that, so thank you for reading my mind. So, Miss Miranda, why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself? What brings you to
Certainly.
us tonight?
Okay, I recently moved to Tilton about, be 3 years in December. And I wanted to get involved in the community. And so that's why when I went to vote, I filled out a paper and Leanne asked me, if I wanted to get on a committee. So I said yes, and just like to get involved in, do community
Excellent.
work. I work for the post office right now. I've been there every 9 years in November in Manchester. Before that, I used to be a teacher in Massachusetts for over 20 years. So this is like my second career.
Oh, wow. Gotta ask, what grade did you teach?
Well, I did middle to high school.
All right.
I got a master's in education and a bachelor's in business management.
Well, thank you for shaping young minds.
Thank you.
Mine is misshapen. Excellent. Anyone else have any questions for Miss Miranda? Oh, well,
Mr. Peets, yeah.
Mr. Peace, we're gonna have you step right into the fire.
Sure. Yep. So I retired from the state of New Hampshire DOT.
Yep.
I moved to Tilton 6 years ago from Bethlehem, New Hampshire.
Moving south.
Yeah, we were originally from Laconia, Belmont area. We moved up there thinking it was going to be the better life, but winters are just too long up there. And working for the DOT, I was able to transfer. I was patrol foreman in the New Hampton shed. I took care of I-93 from exit 20 to exit 27. Dealt with many homeowners, citizens, complaints that they may have with right of way or, like that, or tree or anything else that the citizen may have a complaint with. I had to deal a lot with that. So like I said, I retired from there a couple of years ago, and I now took on a part-time job at the New Hampshire Veterans Home, and I'm in the maintenance department up there. I've been doing that for a couple of years now. My neighbor, Matt Gilman, said that there was an opening if I would be interested, and I do want to get more involved in the community, and that's why I'm here.
And Tuesday nights are good for both of you?
Mm-hmm.
The third Tuesday of every month?
Yep.
That's when they are, right?
That's correct.
See, I'm not on it anymore and I forgot. So,
Would they be held here?
no, town hall.
Okay, thank you.
Town hall. It's easier that way because that's where all the land use files are. They're upstairs, right? So on the second floor. And Leanne does a good job. She usually emails things out like about 10 days before. Yeah, a week, give you time to review it.
Okay.
I know that they'll give you a wonderful book of ordinances. It's great for insomnia. But it's actually very informative just to have a basic understanding. I mean, I served on the planning and zoning. Mr. Scanlon has served on planning and zoning?
Conservation.
Conservation, yeah.
You're the planning guy now, though.
Yeah, he's the ex officio of the planning board. The zoning, the ZBA or the zoning board does not have an ex officio, so it's completely run because we are the appeals of that, so it would be not good to have us on there. Hmm. Anyone else have anything for them?
And I also, I just have one quick question. I also see on your application that you're also interested in Parks
Mhm.
Commission. Are you still interested in joining that as well?
Yes.
She lives right next door to a park.
Yes.
Yeah.
How many positions are there open on the Parks Department? I know they've always.
We
need
haven't
alternates.
met, we haven't met since I've been named ex officio to that, so. Yeah, don't know.
Okay.
We haven't
Well,
had a meeting yet for the parks because Eric is ex officio and I'm alternate, so we haven't had a meeting yet.
Yeah, I think Monday's the next one, I think, with that fun.
Monday,
Yeah,
is Monday night is the next one.
it's a lot of fun. Lots of good things happening. Yes,
Just one question was, are you associated or related or anything to anybody that has any cases before the zoning or planning board at this time?
I don't know anybody in
See.
Tilton really. That's why.
You're gonna learn quick.
Well, you'll
You'll
get
learn
to
quick.
meet people
Yes,
then.
you do.
Except town hall. I've been there a few times.
And, the other thing is the planning board's really important because people bring plans and they're trying to move forward with it. So attendance is real important because if they all show up and then their members missing, how many members are there?
5.
5.
this is
Zoning.
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 And then.
Right. Yeah.
For zoning. All right. Mr. Ruggles?
I'm good.
Mr. Jessup?
I'm so satisfied, I'd make a motion to appoint Ann Miranda as a full member of the zoning board.
Thank you.
All right. Is there a second?
I'll second that. Constantino.
All right, any other discussion? No, all those in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion
But-
that we put Mr. Pease on the zoning board.
I'll second it.
Is there any discussion? None?
I do have one
Sure thing.
thing to point out. Would you please state his full name for the minute?
Sure, Mr. Brian J. Pease.
Okay.
All right. There was a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Welcome aboard to the Good Ship Zoning Board.
Thank you.
And thank you.
Thank you very much for coming out and meeting with us this evening. And Leanne is going to become your best friend. She does a great job.
They-
And thank you very much for coming and meeting us and do that. Yes, ma'am.
If Ann still wanted to be a member of the Parks Commission, then I think that once we find out if there's still an opening, Jeannie, can we get in contact with her to fill out another form? Because it needs to be. Okay,
Thank you.
we'll get back in touch
All
with
right,
you.
thank you.
Yes, sir.
Swearing in.
Yeah, we should swear him in now. Then be all set.
All right.
Go ahead, swear him in, right there. Right here. There.
On the back, on the bottom.
Around.
You
Right
can
on the
do
bottom.
2 for 1 here.
We're going to do 2 for 1. You ready? So this is, oh, I get to do this, huh?
You are the chairman.
Anybody?
All right. So you'll have to repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Ann Miranda,
I, Brian Pease.
Do solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will,
Okay.
yeah, you can say it together. It's
Do
all good.
solemnly swear, okay.
That I will faithfully and impartially discharge
that I will
Faithfully and impartially discharge
and perform all the duties incumbent on me as a zoning board member.
Just make them
Just
say
say
I
I
do
do.
it.
You know what? I'll just say that,
Yeah.
just say I do. Perform all the duties incumbent on me as a zoning board member to the best of my abilities, agreeable to the rules and regulations of the Constitution and the laws of the state of New Hampshire. So help me God.
I do.
All right.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And thank you very much
Thank you.
for stepping
Thank
up.
you.
Which one is?
Yep.
Which one do I sign? Is there one to sign?
I've got the,
Yep.
I've got
Oh, you
the
got them? All right.
papers here.
All right.
This person here. Full form. Oh, reappointment, I see.
So now for the Parks Department, I don't go to the meetings yet. I have to wait.
Well, you can come to the meeting. It's a
Okay.
public meeting.
Okay.
So we'll, before then,
Okay.
and there's alternates too, so
Okay, great.
we'll figure it out.
Okay, great.
All right.
All right. Yep.
And we'll get back to you.
Okay, great, great.
Next Thursday. But come to the meeting, by all means.
Okay, the meeting is
I believe it's
Monday.
this Monday coming?
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's on the town website.
It's on the town website under,
Yeah.
under meetings.
absolutely. Come home.
Yep. They meet
Downstairs.
downstairs.
Yep.
You'll have to learn which is
Thanks.
upstairs,
Thank
which is
you.
downstairs. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Thank you. Have a pleasant evening.
right.
Thank you. Now let's talk about that mail. No, just kidding.
Take care.
All right.
Thank you, Leanne.
Here, you
Bye,
want
Leanne.
to, I'll take it afterwards. All right. Next, we have, selectmen's reports.
We're moving right along here.
We're chugging. We're going. We're going to go for it. Oh, look at that. First on the list is John Scanlon.
Oh, good evening. And there were no meetings last week that I'm on any boards or commissions or anything to attend to. So I don't have any reports from that. Looking forward to doing perambling with Joe. I'd like to get together and do energy committee sometime with you.
Okay, we can discuss that when we're out perambulating,
And
because it's a long walk.
And if anybody else is interested in being on the energy committee, we'd love to have you
Please.
aboard for that. That's about it. I believe we're still, Joe's stage here. Are we done with the snow ordinance? Parking?
April 15th,
April 15th.
I believe so.
And we had a few flakes tonight that fell down, so.
I saw that. So it's
So
not-
you still have another 2 weeks.
Director Duvall is out monitoring that as we
Sure.
speak.
But that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Next, Pat Constantino.
I have a few things. First off, the fire department is going out to do COVID shots to COVID vaccines to the shut-ins for seniors. So if anyone knows of anyone, they're going to go April 5th through the 7th. If you know of anybody, get in touch with Tim Joubert at the fire department. And we could put him on the list. I've given him a few names already to attach to that list.
Excellent.
Okay, and the executive committee met on Tuesday. Pat Constantino remains as the chair, Emily LaPlante remains as the vice chair, and the secretary is Sandy Plesner. We talked a lot about reopening the senior center. Community Action is not willing to open up for meals yet. They're still doing the takeout even at a 50% capacity. I have a phone call into Susan Demers, who's the Director of Community Action. I have not a return phone call yet. The Executive Committee wants to do April 14th. What we want to do is 9 to 11, have coffee and donuts, and allow the seniors to come in and first come, first serve, only have a 50% capacity, protocol, COVID protocol, of course, mask, the whole bit, but we'll just have coffee and donuts and just a social event when CAP doesn't want us to do a game morning or anything like that, dominoes or anything, because then we have to sanitize all the different pieces and all that kind of stuff. So just a morning of getting the word out, April 14th, 9 to 11. And so we can get some of the seniors, check in with them, do a little bit of networking, see how they're doing, what they need, and so on and so forth. And then hopefully we'll be able to do that once a week, maybe twice a week, just to get kind of matriculate back into, and hopefully then CAP will open up for the meals once or twice a week, and then we'll get moving on down that way. It's been a good week for a return on the town meeting for our plea for bus drivers. We've had 2 that have made appointments for their med cards. So that's very exciting. And a 3rd one is in the process of making an appointment. So we'll have 3 extra drivers, which means then we can kind of start opening up and doing an MOU if Jeannie and Tim still is willing to help me out with an MOU between Northfield and Samberton. I talked to Kevin about that, and I wanted to, because we only have 1 key to the bus, well, we actually have 2, but 1 stays at the highway department. So I've asked Kevin what the feasibility would be for a lockbox on the building, and he said that would absolutely be no problem at all. So I wanted to ask the board what they thought would just have a lockbox. So then as the drivers, because it's off hours when they're not there, sometimes it's 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon when the highway's not there. So we go in with the key, take the bus out and come back in. So now we can go to this lockbox, get the key, and it will be different drivers. So when they're done, they put the key back in the lockbox and then come back out.
It would have to be a key to the front gate as well, right?
Right. Yeah,
Because when they leave, they lock the gate.
lock the key, right.
Well, like they leave, they lock the gate, they do their thing, and then they come back. They gotta.
Right.
I guess they'll have the key with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it'd be on the same
Right.
keychain, I would assume. Okay.
So it's worked so far with our appointment. I did, I was really, I don't want to say upset, but I was really disappointed this year because we had someone in mind to nominate for our, the Vaughn Award this year. And we, when we met as an executive committee, we all agreed that this is who we wanted to nominate this year, and it was our bus driver. But we went online, we couldn't find it, and then I made some phone calls. They changed the name to Older Adult Award, and the nomination ended March 19th, and we never got any notice of that. So unfortunately, we have to wait another year to do that, and I don't know why they changed the name, but the state is what it is, but we'll get them next year. But it's now called Older Adult Award, but I did have a conversation with Joe Kenny about it. We missed it. The other one, I've gotten several phone calls on the price of the police department because it was posted in the Concord Monitor as we sold the police department for $157,000. And Tim, do you want to kind of explain why it's $157,000 and it has something to do with the tax stamp and going to in the deeds research? So I'll have Tim kind of explain it on camera so people will know why it's that.
Right, so the municipality is exempt from paying tax stamps, so when it's recorded, it shows the stamps that were paid, and those were paid by the buyer, half paid by the buyer, so it reflects what would look like half the value, but the sale price of the building was $315,000, and if you recall at town meeting, one of the warrant articles was to take 290,000 of the proceeds of that after our expenses and to reduce the principal of the long-term police bond. So so that's, I think, where maybe the confusion may have arisen to begin with. And I think there was some confusion about what was left and what wasn't. And just so that people know that are listening, there was a new generator that was a FEMA-sourced generator that we got from a grant. That was removed from the building. If we're not permitted to sell that, so we're going to use it at another town property. So that was removed. That's awaiting fair weather to be able to relocate that, but it's at the town shed right now. And then also the camera systems. There are, I think, 2 cameras that were on the exterior of the building that were never removed or integrated with the newer system. And those are back from the early 2000s. But otherwise, the cameras that we put in 2018, I believe it was, we took the network video recorder with us. We took all the cameras with us, the microphones, everything, every piece of that equipment was removed from the old PD and installed here at the new PD, along with some additional equipment, additional cameras and equipment. So hopefully that clears up some of the questions.
Thank you, Tim.
I have a question.
Yes.
Equipment from the old police department. We spent a lot of money on a special toilet. It was like $25,000.
No, 2,500.
2,500?
Yes.
All this time I thought it was $25,000. I wanted to know if you moved the $25,000 toilet.
The toilet was not moved. That was part of the fixtures of the building.
2,500 is one. They're going to use that toilet over there. It seems unlikely somehow.
It was evaluated at the time the design was done for this building and determined that it was not appropriate for.
Cost more to remove it and then to install it here.
Yep, okay.
And the committee made that decision.
Well, I thought it was far higher in price.
Yeah.
Well,
Thanks, Tim. I appreciate it. I mean, we've gotten phone calls on this all weekend since it was published Sunday. So that kind of hopefully answers a lot of other residents that have not called their answers. I'm finished with that.
anything else?
Nope, that's it.
All right.
Thanks.
Moving on to Mr. Scott Ruggles.
Just one thing this evening, and it's been one obviously that I've had to experience for a number of years. So for a while, there was a police officer in the morning at the exit to Winnisquam Regional High School / middle school because of the traffic pattern there, and that had stopped. And I know it all depends on numbers and staffing, but it's just, as I continue to watch, because I do drop one off at middle school still, it's just a situation where I watched someone today almost get hit as they were pulling out. It's just the traffic situation can be tough in the mornings and in the afternoon too. I don't now go out that way in the afternoon, but I know that it's a difficult situation. There's sometimes an officer who helps the buses in the morning leave, but
Yes,
down
I
at the
will.
other end where you have the drop-off families, that there's no one there. So I don't know if there's anything we can do, maybe not every day, but at least, some days, usually end of the week, Thursdays and Fridays tend to have more traffic, just from my visual on it. So
We've always had somebody out in front of that school directing traffic, especially when the buses are coming out. And I actually saw Officer Murray over there today. Although she wasn't outside the car was And nobody was coming and going yet at that point, but I knew the kids were out.
Pat?
In the past, we've usually had the SROs directing the traffic because it's before school starts.
Mhm.
But if there's an incident or an event that happens either on the bus or as the bus is approached, then the SRO has to deal with it. And that's why they have to get off. But we've never really had anybody went and drop off on the middle school,
Yeah.
which I've personally experienced that they probably should need it.
Yeah, it's my concern comes with that, the exit near the baseball field and the high school parking lot is that's the one where it can get backed up. Plus you have the parents dropping off for the high school or the high school students coming into park as well, staff coming in. It's just, it can get messy at times. And I just worry that someone's, that we're going to have an accident there and then it's going to be even a larger issue overall. So
We can ask, but it would be based on availability.
exactly. Yeah. So but it's been a fairly quiet week as I wander the town. So, but that's all I had.
Jeannie can ask,
Yeah.
see if Jeannie can ask Rich.
Yeah, Jeannie, did you get the overall gist of that, of trying to see if we can speak with Director Mann? Okay.
And again, from experience, very honestly, Thursdays and Fridays, the amount of traffic and as we get closer to summer, I've always noticed, it's not an official count, but it's just multiple years of doing it. Thursday and Friday tend to be a little bit more hectic.
All right. And next, anything else?
All set. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next on the list, Joe Jessman.
Only things I got is the Bittern Lane project is set for the next week, the walk around part. I got Kevin the deed so he can be familiar with what we're looking for when we go over there to maximize our effectiveness. And by next week, I should have some kind of idea about where our property actually is. It's a 50-foot right of way for sure. And I saw the road book and Leanne has compiled a file of Bittern Lane, not the file, but a file of Bittern Lane stuff. So I have that in hand when we go to do this. The other thing is the perambulation. Can we do it the 17th? The 10th was supposed to be my day from not having my granddaughter, but that all changed. So the following week, we'll go out and do this. And that's me,
What day was it? On the 17th?
the 17th. Are you available the 17th?
I don't know.
Okay, well.
Things are always changing. You never know.
Joe, which day are you headed to Bittern Lane?
Monday.
Monday? Time? Do you know?
First thing in the morning, kind of like 8 a.m.
Okay.
Why, you want to go?
Let me check my teaching schedule. I'll see.
Okay.
So I
Okay.
may show up with my cup of coffee.
The information was sent out, the deeds and all that stuff. You should have it in.
I've seen it. Yeah.
All right. Oh, that leaves me. So we have to make a decision about town hall, because last week we delayed, we kept it as status quo until tomorrow, April 5th. And so we need to decide what we're going to do with town hall. And I know there was an email and I can't remember what she said.
Cindy.
The town clerk, tax collector.
So I have talked with everyone, I shouldn't say everyone at town hall, but you were waiting to hear from the town clerk, tax collector, and she is ready to have her office fully open now.
Okay.
I'll make a motion. We open town hall to the
Ruggles,
public.
Ruggles second.
I'll go second. Any discussion? Yes, sir.
Is that intended to be with COVID-19 restrictions, masks and 6 feet and
Yes.
Well, it's,
occupancy restrictions?
yes, but I question the 6 feet because didn't the governor change it to 3 feet?
Somebody said that, but I don't I don't know that to be a fact. I will need to check that.
Okay.
That's news to
That's,
me.
I would.
But yes,
that's
whatever the
practices,
governor's,
right?
yeah,
Whatever the
COVID
current,
protocol for
current
the
COVID.
governor.
All right.
And I would second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All right. All those in favor of opening town hall back up, signify by saying aye.
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 All right. There you go. Well, what, did we think of a date?
Uh,
Did we say what day? April
Well,
5th?
April 5th, yeah,
Okay.
because it's closed till April 5th. But I'd like to also make a motion that we open up the senior center as well.
Okay.
Just a housekeeping one, because we didn't include that. We just said town hall.
All right. Would that be all, would we open all public building, all,
That's a good point. I think DPW is still closed as well. So yes, open up all town facilities.
So we should correct that motion.
we can make a, we
Just make a new one, just,
An
okay.
additional one for the other.
So I'll make a motion that we open all public town buildings to the public.
Yeah.
Following COVID protocols.
Second.
second. All right. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? All right. We're back open for business, folks. All right. Moving right along. Town administrators report.
So everyone should have received my weekly update. I have 4 action items. The first is Sergeant Gilman will attend next week's meeting to discuss parking on the tree streets. And we'd like to schedule a public meeting on the tree streets. We had talked about this months ago to invite the residents to a public meeting with the selectmen to hear what they have to say about any potential changes on that road. We had talked about, or I have down in my report, April 22nd. I think that Selectman Constantino would like to move that off a week. Is that correct?
Yes,
To April
please.
29th?
Yes.
So I'm looking for the board to approve that public meeting with the residents on April 29th.
The only thing I would be concerned about is that's, I believe that's school vacation week. You may get some people that aren't able to attend because they may choose to travel. I don't know.
It is school vacation week, yeah.
So do you want to push it off to May?
Well, we've been waiting all these years.
Trust me, I'm excited.
I'm fine with, I just appreciate you not doing it on the 22nd because I won't be available.
So
I
May
live on the
6th,
tree streets.
May 6th?
May 6th.
Okay.
Question.
Question.
Is there any way to include Academy Street in that as well?
This is specific
Just
to
specific to
the
tree
tree
streets?
streets.
Okay.
Yep.
So it's,
I have an observation, Eric.
yep.
We've had meetings about this. We've had the residents come in. It was a big meeting, had to have it up at the church because there was too many people for town hall and nothing came of it. So it would seem as though those people are going to remember that. Are we really going to do something about it?
Well, I think we'll have my own personal opinion is I think we'd have a better idea once we see what Sergeant Gilman's plan is. And
I think the proof of actually doing something is what he did last year, which he came to this board and he outlined 2 or 3 things that he was going to do. He worked with our DPW director and did get all those things done up to the point of actually talking about what are you going to do with the parking and the sidewalks. And that's the last piece, which didn't get resolved, I think, because I don't think there was any, if I recall, no decision was made. So we're just trying to finish what was started last year.
Hey,
I'm very excited to see what he has to present.
So you're good with May 6th?
May 6th.
Okay. Next item, timetable, Mabel Pocket Park. Last week, there was a request to remove the bushes surrounding the statue. It was discussed, but I didn't get any feeling of consensus. I know I talked about that Kevin and I have a plan, but that plan does include removing the bushes. So I just want to make sure before he tears them out that everybody's good with that.
Doesn't, Vest Pocket Park, isn't that under the auspice of the Parks Commission?
This is timetable, Mabel. This is the
But
one
you
that,
say Pocket Park.
well, I call it a pocket park because it's a small park. If you don't,
Little triangle right there by the island.
Oh, that one over there. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I'm
yeah,
thinking of
'cause
the
they do
little
call
one
that
by the
one-
bridge.
They call the one by the bridge Pocket Park. So
Yeah,
Best spot.
Best Pocket Park. Yeah.
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 So, the project that you're doing under there, we have to remove the bushes, right?
we don't have to remove the bushes, but we want to make an improvement to the landscape of that space now that it's been donated to the town by the Rogers family.
Right.
We put the dedication sign up last year. And as Kevin talked about last week, he is going to work on seeing if we can get the water feature to start working again. So it's just all part of a process of improving that site.
Will we eventually add greenery back?
Yes.
Yeah. John, go ahead.
If anybody remembers last fall, there was a drawing, a plan on how to, what it would look like in a, what would you call it?
I don't know. There were some,
A conceptual plan.
yeah. And I think
And-
we want to go beyond that though.
And he removed the bushes and all those yews that had gone over it, just to show what it could possibly look like. So
Okay.
that was part of an inspiration of, going
I don't
forward on
remember
it.
that.
And,
I'm fine with that.
because, the yews
Yes.
just took over everything.
So everybody's good with removing the bushes?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
all right. Last week you approved the emergency travel policy. It's in your to be signed folder. If you just sign that so we can get that completed. The final issue is, as a follow-up to the emergency travel policy, I drafted a return to work questionnaire so that anyone who's gone on vacation, when they come back, they just answer the standard questionnaire before they come back into work. So I'd like you to take a look at that. That's not a policy. It's just a document that goes along with the policy that we would have.
This is the one you made up, or is this come with it?
It's part of, it goes along with emergency travel policy, which is a recommended. I certainly didn't create it on my own. It's part of something that was provided.
Okay with it.
I get asked these
Yes.
same questions every time I punch in. Oh,
So everybody's good with that?
I am good with that.
Yes, I'm good with it.
Okay.
Tim, is that you that is under name, waiting for name? Okay.
All right. And the FYI won't go through that unless anyone has any questions on the FYI.
I have a question for the town administrator, but it's not related to the FYI.
Okay. And then I have some discussion items that are not on your,
I have one, I have one on the fourth bullet point about the Civil War monument fence.
Mhm.
Just as a point of reference, Northfield had to have some repairs done to the cemetery fence behind Town Hall. And they had a specialist who specializes in older cast iron fences. So I don't know if you want to contact them and find out about him. So
I will do that. Northfield.
yes, they did. Yeah.
And what was the fence that they,
The fence, there's the cemetery behind the town hall. Someone had gone through it with their car
Okay,
last year.
Driving down from the arch, he drove
It-
right
it-
through the fence.
Yeah, yeah. And
Okay.
so, and they had a specialist who specializes in those types of fences come in and do that work.
great. I'll follow up.
We had a car, is it the one the car drove through that
It's
side?
the one on Winter Street that,
Wow.
Oh, the plow. Well, on the other side, on the Main Street side, about 4 years ago, a vehicle drove through and we obtained, Joyce got a person that mimicked the fence. So you might want to check also with Joyce. And they repaired that. It was three or four sections that they repaired on the Main Street side of the Civil War Memorial
okay, great.
Monument, I mean, sorry.
All right. Did you have a question before
I did, I was talking with some people on the Parks Commission because I'm the alternate and I'm gonna attend the meeting. And there's a whole plethora of noise out there for a softball field. And my understanding, and I heard this and I don't know if it's correct or not, but my understanding is that the Parks Commission made a plea to the Board of Selectmen to have the park, the ball field given back to them. And I haven't seen anything, so I don't know if that,
So I have not seen anything formalized. I believe at one of your meetings, it may have been Peter who asked about it. I recall us having a conversation, and at that time, what was discussed is that we're not ready to, we're still in construction. We still have landscaping. We still have things that need to be done before that piece is turned back over. I mean, ultimately, it's up to you, but we're not done. It'll probably be another month or two.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I mean, it's still, until we know what is left, what's gonna look like, everything's out of here, I don't think. And then it gives the Parks Department an idea of what they have to work with. That's just my thought.
We've got, if you've looked in the back, we have a pile of soil that we still need to get back there, and that needs to be spread out. So we're still going to have construction going on the side of the building until everything the landscaping gets resolved.
There's also a move afoot to put a softball field at Surratt Park in Northfield.
well,
So
then
that's out there as
they're
well.
doing that because they think that this one is a dead issue. And that's why they're doing that. And that's unfortunate because the Parks Commission really want to do this over here. And they're saying they can't because Town of Tilton won't let them. And that's not really the right reason. So,
I would disagree with that usage, and here's why, because I've thought extensively about this piece of property, is that when we look at pieces of property like this, this is not a lack of support for youth sports, but that is a limited percentage use in terms of the people of Tilton, and it's a limited time period use. So there are other things that I think we could brainstorm and look at that could be used, say, from March through November instead of a two-month period in a 2-month window. And it will ruffle some feathers, but I think when we start thinking about parks and what we can provide for the community, we need to think of a longer, more extensive period of use. And we need to think of a higher percentage in terms of our population who would use certain things.
so if we don't intend to give it back to the parks, which we promised we would at town meeting when we went for the police department vote, we said we would give it back to the parks when we're finished with the police department. If our intent in this board changes that intent, we ought to let the Parks Department know what our intent is. So we better figure it out pretty soon, which way we're going to go, because we're just leaving them out in nowhere's land and not communicating with them. And we promised better communication between our commissions, our police, our departments and committees. And we're not doing that because, you know, we made a vote. We said at town meeting, we could pull the minutes. We said at town meeting that we would give that back to them. The timing right now is not right to give it back. I agree with you on that, but our intent needs to be very clear. Are we going to do it or are we not going to do it? One or the other. And we need to make that, we need to communicate that back with them because they're in limbo right now and they can't make decisions on what to do. They've had that purview for a number of years with all sorts of different activities over there, not just football or not just softball. They've had other activities over there as well. So we need to make a decision one way or another, I think, as a board.
I fully agree with you on the communication piece. I also think that urging and nudging by this body in terms of them starting to look at, as I mentioned, the widespread usage or high percentage usage in terms of our population. As an example, we have one playground in the town of, public playground in the town of Tilton that has one slide and two swings. Yet we have a population that would use a larger playground, especially one that has parking, et cetera. So I think starting to sort of be able to urge or to give our ideas and communicate openly with parks about things that we can look at in the town that are going to bolster, you know, life in the town. Community garden would be a wonderful thing as well. There's, you know, there are just a number of things that would continue to add to the value of community gatherings and
We have a
places.
beautiful piece of land for
Eric.
community garden.
So,
Yep. Joe?
I never promised that Park Department was going to specifically said that, although I did hear it say a meeting that there was going to be a football field over there. That hasn't happened either, and we've got a couple of incarnations with that property. Alan Northfield is building us off park. We don't have to spend football field 2 miles away. I'm looking forward, and I think we, Parks Department specifically, plan are we talking about it? Personally, I have yet to see the plan. So, at sometime in the future, if it's a park, they may well get.
All right. John. Joe.
Yeah, I think we need to find out from the public what they really want. Because there can be some people that really rally for stuff, but may not be representing all of the citizens of the town, you know. So to find out what the needs are of the community and what would best serve them. You know, I'm all for turning it back to the parks to do it. They've done a good job, but to spend $80,000 on putting the dirt down for, is that what all of the public really wants? You know, I've heard people asking for dog parks, you know, a nice fencing area where they could play with their dogs. And that's why they don't have one. And there's been people, you know, like swing sets, place to take kids, or we've heard frisbee, golf areas, you know, so there's a lot of different things that people want. And I don't want to just jump into something but yeah, I'm for turning it back over after the landscaping's done out here.
Well, I'm excited for the first parks meeting that I get to attend and get their feedback, and which I will bring back to this board. And because I'm that, and Pat sounds like she's going to be at that meeting as well. So it'll be exciting just to get something going. Anything else? Did you have?
I do. I
Okay.
have some more things.
Wait, there's more.
There's more. So following on that conversation, Tim and I are coming through the building tomorrow to create a punch list of items, outstanding items for the building. But part of the finishing of the police department is this parking area out here. And you heard from Kevin, I think it was last week, what it would cost for 50 plus parking spaces. I think we said $30,000 you had set aside from with the contingency money. And so that's what I'd like the board to address tonight. Are you ready to have him go forward and create that parking area?
Yep,
Uh,
absolutely.
I am. I think it really needs to be done. I question $30,000, so. That might be the materials, but we have entire crews over there.
So, no, so excuse me, Ambrose had given us a quote of, I think, $80,000 for 64 spaces. Kevin presented a plan for $15,000 with, I think, 20 or 30 spaces. And the last discussion was that we could double that and use 30,000 from the contingency funds to build that parking lot. So he would be doing it. It would not be, am I correct? He would be doing it. So no one else. It would.
The cost of him doing it too,
Sure.
I'm gonna say.
So, right, but realize too, I'm sure you remember that this is a community room. And so that parking lot will be used when you have public hearings here. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yes.
Oh, well, there you go. I thought it was in addition to the town.
No.
No,
All right, never mind.
John?
So what are the numbers of spots? I remember we had some numbers, was it last week? And then we increased it. So
Mhm.
what's the total number that we'll have? And what was the original number?
I want to say he started out with 30 spots or 25 or something like that. I could get the details of it, but, and we just doubled the number because we needed more than what he was proposing.
So it'd be like 60?
I think so.
that's
Yeah.
Because I think we want to make sure that we have sufficient spots for
I think that will be enough.
any events that we have.
Yep.
This will be an unpaved. It'll be ledge
Right.
packed.
Right.
Okay, River Rock,
Sounds good.
it's all the-
So you're good with him to
Yeah,
move forward?
and I think by doing that, that's going to give more visual to space left for
Yes.
future
Yep.
uses.
Okay. The American Recovery Plan, if you have heard about it, no, excuse me, it's the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021. I've received information being a member of the Municipal Managers Association, the New Hampshire Municipal Association. Looks like the town of Tilton is going to get about $350,000 from this plan. And we are considered a non-entitlement community. Small municipalities that have fewer than 50,000 inhabitants. And they're planning to distribute, now that number could change up or down a little bit, but that's the number they're giving us right now. And they're going to distribute the first 50% not later than 60 days from the date of enactment. Enactment was March 11th, so 2 months after that, it comes to the state. Then the state has 30 days to give it to us. And they cannot tell us what to do with the money. They just have to give it to the town. And then the second amount, the other 50% would come a year later. There are multiple things that we can use the funds for. Provision of government services to the extent of the reduction in revenue due to the public health emergency relative to revenues collected in the most recent full fiscal year. Necessary investments in water, sewer, broadband infrastructure, premium pay for eligible workers performing essential work, and economic impacts including assistance to households, small businesses, and nonprofits. So Tim and I have been talking about it, kind of bouncing around some ideas. We'll come back to you with, you know, some suggestions. There is, as I said, there's an ironclad language in the ARP that uses the word shall, so that the state has to give the money to the municipality. It can't hold it back. We're not allowed to use the funds to either directly or indirectly offset a reduction in the net tax revenue that results from a change in law, regulation, or administrative interpretation during the covered period. No funds can be deposited into any pension fund. And state and local governments are allowed to transfer to a private nonprofit organization if that was something that we decided to do. So just wanted to let you know about that. That's kind of exciting news, I think, for the town, especially as we're working on economic development. Tim and I also had a meeting, was it yesterday, with Julia Chase. There is also additional money available from FEMA, the FEMA Public Assistance Grant, starting from January 20th, 2021. They'll pay the town for any police department overtime that we've incurred from then till now. And it looks very likely that they will also reimburse us for all the technology costs here at the EOC. It's just, again, it's just, it's the FEMA. It's just the FEMA Public Assistance Grant. So we are going to be gathering the costs for that and then submitting that to FEMA and see what we get.
Well,
Chick-fil-A, hawkers and peddlers. I think you have one in front of you. So Gail, she said that they're coming once a month with this application that they have to renew every once a month. And she's asking if the board would consider having them submit one application paperwork for the remainder of the year, provided they include all their dates. They would submit the $75, however many more months they provide, rather than doing it once a month.
yeah,
I was under the understanding that that's the way that we should be doing it when it was a multiple months. So I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Eric?
John.
John.
Do we have any limit to how long hawkers and peddlers can operate? So it's open-ended for,
Whack. But we don't have to sign the paperwork if we don't want to renew it.
doing this for what, a whole year, is it? Or
They only come in on like a Friday or a Saturday. It's like a couple of weekends a month, I think it is, that they come in. So it's not like, but they pay for the month.
I'm for it, but one thing we have to keep in mind is that when we allow a business to come in and sort of like pick the best days to make the most money and arrive in a truck and then disappear, we're hurting the brick and mortar stores that are actually, in that parking lot and setting up and invested into the community and are paying for all these things and keeping people employed. So that's something to really keep in mind, because that if people are hungry, they're going to go somewhere to eat, and taken away from our businesses that pay taxes in the town and employ people.
This is in Tanger Outlets though, right?
Yes.
And this is something that Tanger Outlet is, I would imagine that he wouldn't do that if it was going to make his other tenants angry.
I'm talking about the whole community as a whole.
Oh, I was just talking about Tanger
all those,
Outlets.
They just,
They would go to Chick-fil-A.
Kentucky Fried.
Right.
but they are, I believe it's been told to us that they are a tenant, so therefore they must be paying some type of rent, which is going towards the taxes, which is of
You know,
of the town.
No,
To John's point, more people.
you know, we have a municipal parking lot right next to T-Hop. And, you know, if 5 vendors want to go in and sell pizza, hot dogs and subs and stuff like that, you know, like you see at a state fair, when do you say yes and when do you say no? So it's just something to keep in mind that, you know, it can actually draw from like V sandwiches or, and things like that.
Yeah.
No, I would say do maybe, how many months did they want?
So this one is for,
Yeah.
For the rest of the year.
You know, I think quarterly, but 3 or 4 months.
well, what about if they, if they're doing research to whether they want to build a location here in Tilton, they're using this feedback. I mean, does that mean you can't allow them? No,
As a franchise, it's not.
well, it comes out of Westboro, Mass. And he goes to all sorts of places all over New Hampshire. Places that don't have it, but they also do it for market research. Whether or not an area would be viable for a franchise.
You know, and one of those things, we have an ordinance, we have a procedure, and once again, we're overriding our ordinances and not following our procedures. Special exceptions, and once we do this for one person, we should be able to do this for everybody.
What do you mean overriding our procedure? We're not overriding our procedure.
They apply monthly,
Well,
30 days.
I have a question. Before you go, Pat, I happen to have it right in front of me. So on the event here, on this Hawkers and Peddlers license application, in this box that says fee schedule, it says Hawkers and Peddlers, $75 per month. If they check off 12, and they write it, and my math is off, so I'm gonna round it up to $100, $1,200, because I'm not a math teacher.
That's a good thing, because that would be wrong.
No, I know. But that's why I rounded up to $100.
Yeah.
But they said total columns A and B would be 1,200, and they can write us a check for 1,200. What's the difference? I don't see why we're making them come back month after month when, in fact, from our own application, they could submit for 12 months.
If my memory serves me, which sometimes it fails, we had a vendor that was up there that did exactly that. And we said, well, how long are you going to be there? We said 3 months, which is one of the reasons why we changed the fee from a monthly to, we lowered it to like a monthly, I'm sorry. We lowered the fee monthly. It was a different fee. It was a higher fee. And we said, okay, then we pay this fee all at once. So that person sold hot dogs up there. It was the same type of situation, but they were up there multiple months and they paid ahead of time and they paid it all at once. That's why I was under the assumption that that's what Chick-fil-A was doing, not just on a monthly. I think it's just interpretation of the hawkers and peddlers that we have right now.
So it's
We're
got a
not
box-
making exceptions.
It's got a box already.
On the bottom of the, if you look on the bottom,
Well,
it
then
says
they can do the-
number
they
of
can do it
months.
already.
Right, you just put the number of months and then do it. We've done that
There you go.
to the other one before, and then we say, okay, if you're gonna be there for 3 months, if you're gonna be there for 3 weeks, then this is how much it costs.
That's the application. Is it any different than what's on the actual ordinance?
That should be the ordinance.
That should be the same.
That right there, John, when it comes around to you.
It's
Okay,
already been by you guys.
so what does the ordinance say?
Where we at?
It's like 8 pages. Or 6 pages.
Time-wise, we're just getting to your report, so. Someone missed this one. Oh, he probably didn't.
Hmm?
No, he,
He's jinxing himself.
Yeah, it's still a non-public.
Not supposed to brag that you're early because you will jinx yourself.
I know. I've learned that with other things.
Yep.
Yeah, but what happened is it won't allow me, it wasn't allowing me to scroll.
Yeah,
Show John where it says the $75.
But now I can't.
see right here. Right here on the, this is the,
Yeah,
and then on this fare, it says $75.
yeah.
There's no limit.
Actual
Wait,
ordinance.
Wait, go back.
is-
Sorry, stop. Go up.
Yeah,
Oh, that's for game machine. Never mind.
yeah.
Where you going with that? Did they sign it?
Yeah, everyone signed it.
Oh, okay. You were the last?
I passed it along.
Ah,
Well,
I mean, can we table
I
for
would-
next meeting and then, because this is for this month, so they're good for.
they're good for the end of the month, so we can bring this up at another date.
Look and see if there's anything that stops that.
You can bring it up in a selectmen's report at another date. It looks like we have some people on the line. Are you done, Jeannie? I'm sorry.
I'm not.
All right, I'll keep going then. I'll shut up.
those
Okay.
of you jinxed yourself.
So the other item I wanted to have a discussion with you about is a while back, the selectmen had indicated an interest in getting more involved relative to veterans issues, Memorial Day, Veterans Day, wanting to do more. So what I am suggesting, I've talked with Officer Murray. I talked with Scott Ruggles about getting the smaller flags and on Memorial Day or before Memorial Day, lining the road from Lowe's down into downtown on either side, wherever there's grass, with these flags. Over the course of years, many, many years, 12 wars, 12 US wars, 565,464 lives have been lost with 12 US wars. So the thought is that we would buy it, one flag would represent 1,000 lives. So we'd get 565 flags, and we'd get the school, the Tilton school and the high school, and Liz has already had conversations to have the students help us line either side of the road coming into downtown Tilton with these flags. And further, and she's looking into this to see if one of the students would be interested in making a presentation to the board or in public. If we have a public ceremony, I've talked to the American Legion folks over there about what they do for Memorial Day and how could we add into that, and having a young adult do a presentation on what Memorial Day is all about.
Excellent idea.
In addition, and this is just for Memorial Day, I reached out to the commandant to see what they were doing for Memorial Day, and they are doing a virtual ceremony, but they would love it if the selectmen would prepare and present a virtual message. And I've talked to Tim about that and thought that we could put that together and send that video clip to them for Memorial Day that they could present to the veterans. So,
I'm
everybody good with that?
keep that momentum going. That's good. That's good
That's a
stuff.
whole lot better than 20 or so marching down the road and nobody showing up on the sides of the road just to do the wreath. It's so sad.
And
many
as I
people
said, I
want
did
now.
talk with a gentleman at the American Legion who puts that together every year. He's very excited about us getting involved with them, with their parades. So waiting to hear back, because as I understand it, this Memorial Day parade has fallen under Old Home Day, or the folks who organize Old Home Day. That's what he thought. No? Okay, so I sent it.
I don't-
Their own thing at the VFW. They
Yeah.
dress up and they go to the
Mm.
the monument down here on the Northfield side of Cannon Bridge.
Who?
American Legion.
Yeah, and that's who I talked to. But I asked him what they did last year, and he said that he has been, that everything got canceled because of COVID, but they still did it, but they were the only ones who did it. He said he's been waiting to hear this year if anything's going to happen. So I reached out to Deb Shepherd because it seemed like he said she was involved in it, and I'm waiting to hear back from her. But if they're not, I told him that we would be willing to get involved somehow to help their parade
Well, they
happen.
canceled Old Home Day,
Yes, I know.
but
They're having
think-
fireworks.
I don't think that they've ever been involved in it.
No,
I don't think
I've
they've,
been on that committee for 10 years and never heard anything
Oh.
about it.
yeah,
Okay.
yes,
So
I don't think
I
they've
think-
ever been
I
involved
think in the
it.
past couple of years, Mr. Young has had the band
The band. yeah.
march,
Well,
the music program, but I don't know what they're able to.
yeah,
to do.
well, the gentleman I talked to said they had a drill team.
Yeah.
And they went to each one of the cemeteries. They started at the high school or across the street from the high school, and they visited
Yep.
every cemetery.
Yep.
So anyway, bottom line is he's very interested in us participating or helping that event be more than what it has been. So
I'm excited. I've only missed 2 in 12 years, and I got to tell you, it's so sad because I go into the restaurants and hardware store and say, "There's a parade coming. Come out and come out." I mean,
I think there's a gentleman in town that has a large military vehicle. He did stuff at when they had the community days at the middle school. He did rides. It was like a big. You see him through town every now and then. I'll have to try to find out who that is.
Okay.
Yeah.
so if you're good with that, I'll
Yeah.
proceed.
very good with that.
Yes.
Thank you, Jeannie.
Sure. So the next item, we received a call the other day from a business owner on Main Street who had been hit by bicyclists who were bicycling on the sidewalk.
Mhm.
And I said that I would bring it to your attention. We can certainly talk to the police to have them look at that.
We
Or
have
watch for
signs,
that.
but
It's horrible.
catch 'em.
It's absolutely horrible. The 3 times this week walking on Main Street coming from the Congregational Church, there's a young man that comes down from the Tilton School on a skateboard And he absolutely refuses to get off that skateboard. And he'll come around the corner by 12:31, and he almost knocked over, if it weren't for the lady's husband pulling her back, coming out of Polly's, she would have just knocked right over on the sidewalk. And I saw it, I was way down by Stephanie Paulus's place, I forget what it's called, Nickels and Dimes, right at the corner of Tryon Lane, and I saw it happen. And I said to the young man, please get off the skateboard. This is not allowed on the sidewalk. Well, you can imagine I got a few gestures that I can't show on camera. And he continued on. And this happened 3 times this week. And then we've had 2 bicyclists that they're the same kids that they're trying to catch that are in the middle of the road that go down the yellow line, and they do the wheelies in between the traffic and stuff. Well, they're now doing it on the sidewalks, and they're doing it all kinds of things. And people are walking in and out of the hairdressers and Polly's, and they're coming down by the church and thing, and they're going in front of them and going around them in a circle. And the people just have to stop until they move on. It's horrible.
John?
Are the signs still out there?
Yes,
I think,
All the signs
Yes.
are present?
yes.
I would think it's a law enforcement issue. It should be forwarded to them.
Well, unfortunately, they actually have a lot of it. I've spoken to Luke, and they have a lot of the information on most of the kids, but it's getting down there to see it, because when you call, they're at an accident or something. I mean, it's the availability to them. You can't be everywhere 24/7.
Maybe
It's a
Yep.
problem.
maybe we need a skate park.
well, ironically, that's one of my ideas, but we'll talk about that later.
I think they're trying to make a statement, because they did do something with the state skate park over at
the
Northfield.
bike
Am I
spot.
correct?
Yeah, they tore it up.
They tore it up.
They've
and-
put
and
the ramps are back.
So
Good.
it's,
So I guess we should ask them to send a memo to the police department to kind of enforce that a little bit more.
Well, you will be seeing Rich Mann later on tonight, so you could
Okay.
have that conversation with him if you
yeah,
want.
that's great.
And then the last item I have is just the community engagement interview process in the next month or so. Probably a month and a half, we'll be getting the results for the new police chief, and we need to think about how we want to do that community engagement interview process and who those
Names.
folks should be on that
Are we to
panel.
submit names to you, or?
Well, I wondered if first you would want to submit categories, like we want, maybe we want somebody from the school superintendent. Maybe we want a selectman or 2 selectmen. Maybe we want somebody from the business community.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yep.
Sorry, that was really loud. Have everyone submit for next week. Well, what's our timeline again?
Well, we still have time. I
Well,
don't want to wait to the last minute.
Well, my idea is that we all submit the type of people
Sure.
anonymously to you.
Okay.
Just the type of people, not specific people. So if we want, the coffee maker at Dunkin' Donuts to be on it, then that we put coffee maker or whatever, for outside community people. And then the next step would again be anonymously, that we submit names to you. And then you present those names to us. So as a board, so this way there's, we can't say, John, works for the guy at Mango and he submits, that's who he suggested, that type of thing. So there's no
Okay.
feelings of it either way. It just comes in, you get it, you print out the names, you type them in the Word, print it out, and, we can go through it.
Okay. So why don't I send out an email to the board to start generating those suggestions.
Jeannie, how many do you anticipate on having on this committee?
I don't think it should be more than 7.
Okay, so you're really going to limit this down?
That's just my thought.
Uh-huh.
Ultimately, it's up to all of you. At a certain point, it gets unproductive when it's too large of a group. But at the end of the day, it's your decision.
I'm just kind of thinking, why are we belaboring it? If it's 7 people, we can just, tell Jeannie some categories and then go from there, because, I mean, we pick a business owner or a
Maybe you just
headmaster.
submit names to Jeannie and just go with it that way. I mean,
Names, whichever names come up the most.
well, I just think
Everybody submit 4 names and then whatever you
Yeah,
get common
the
denominator.
yeah, the only issue I have with that, or not an issue, but is that categories. I mean, I think you want to think about who do you want. Like you all might submit names of, I don't know, 4 people from the community, and you haven't touched upon somebody from the school, like
I
the
was thinking,
superintendent.
yeah, I was thinking sort of like you're in where you were thinking. I was kind of thinking like the headmaster of Tilton, because he's real new and he's neutral, but he's a community person.
Right.
So I was kind of thinking in that realm.
That's why I think it would be
Yeah,
a good starting point is to start with categories. Who,
yeah. So let's put down.
but then I'm worried about people going to say, oh, nothing's going to change. It's going to be the same people all the time.
Jeannie, because when we had talked last week, we had been asked to sort of brainstorm a little bit. And in my brainstorming, I thought that we do a Main Street business rep, small business rep, who's a resident.
Yeah.
Okay, a Tilton resident. A rep from one of the big box businesses, because they have to deal, I mean, it's Walmart has its own slot for a police cruiser so that they can park there when they have to come in and deal with that.
Yeah.
An off Main Street small business rep who's a resident. Then a representative obviously from the school district, and a representative from Tilton School. And then I think we think about select board or someone or somewhere else in terms of that.
And then you and Tim, that makes 7.
John?
We submit the suggestions and then go from there.
Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna hash it out tonight, but I think all these are.
We'll think of it for next week.
okay.
Or do we have a big agenda next week?
I don't have the agenda yet.
All
for
right.
Next week. All right. So that's it for me, unless anyone has any other questions for me.
Oh, I'm watching the time. I have none. We have some folks online. Are there anyone online that would like to speak? You will need to unmute yourself. We don't know your names. Anyone? Going once? All right, we'll continue on.
More. Okay. So, so one item I forgot to mention, it was buried and it came up late. So I think last week or the week before you approved outdoor seating for Polly's. But it made me wonder, go back and look at what we did last year. And if you remember, we did a temporary outdoor seating application. We had a temporary expansions, selectmen's policy on tables, chairs, and benches on Main Street sidewalks, and it had expired on 5/31/20. So my question to you is, with the expansion of outdoor seating, is that something do you want me to update that for the summer? Because there are going to be people who want to do,
Yes,
expanded.
please.
Just have them fill it out, yeah.
Well,
No,
I need
it's
to
or-
update I need to update the dates
So when did the current one expire?
in May 31st, 2020.
Well, and then we had people all summer anyway, so.
Yep.
So, we just make a,
I'll just update it and bring it to you next
Okay.
week. Okay, that's it.
I,
Thanks.
I have one more question. Jeannie, is this figure in the Hunter research? Figure in the back? That our monies that we need to pay? Yes,
We got a grant for 17.
right. And we pay 17, and that's coming out of that monies that we transferred over? Or we've changed the warrant article language? The 19,000?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Thank you. That's all I need to know.
all right. Anyone else have anything else? John?
A letter from Casella. What you didn't hear. It's 2,300 feet. And they didn't spoil them.
I suggest we do nothing.
Agreed.
Oh, I totally agree. And I think the guarantee from Casella was that at least 51% of the refuse that went into this dump would be from in-state. That means 49% of 23 million tons or whatever comes from other states. And I wouldn't want the state to become a dumping ground for other states' garbage.
I didn't have my mic on, but I think anybody, if they personally want to write to the legislators, they can.
I think there's a deadline on it, wasn't there?
I think the vote is on the 9th.
Yeah. I just haven't had a chance to look at it personally, but. Anything else? All right. The time being 6:23 PM, I'd like to make a motion to move into non-public session per RSA 91-A:3, Roman numeral 2, C, matters which if discussed in public would likely adversely affect the reputation of any person other than a member of this board, unless such person requests an open meeting. This exemption shall extend to include any application for assistance or tax abatement or waiver of a fee, fine, or other levy, if based on inability to pay or poverty of the applicant. We expect to be back into public session at approximately 7:30 PM. Do I have to say what they are? The non-public. Okay. Do I have a second?
Constantino, second.
All right, roll call vote.
Constantino, yes?
Jessamine, yes.
Ira, yes.
Ruggles, yes.
Scanlon, yes.
All right. We are in non-public session. We go into the time. Back
This
in.
conference will now be recorded.
All right. I'd like to make a motion to seal the minutes of the non-public session of April 1st, 2021, because the reasons justifying the need for the non-public session still remain. Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The time being
Thought it was put off. Oh. We can adjourn.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
the time.
Never mind. I'll take that back.
I'll cross out only one.
There we go. I just wanted to note that the Easter Bunny had visited Town Hall, and it was most appreciated by all the employees there of the party committee, whomever that was. So we don't really know who was behind that, but several people said, including the town clerk tax collector, who said that she's never seen morale so boosted by these sorts of little acts of kindness and thoughtfulness in town hall in 22 years. So I just thought that
Kudos to whoever did
that the town administrator should be complimented because she keeps very close tabs on these things.
On the
and,
Easter Bunny?
I think so.
Great.
Or
Yeah.
the candy budget.
Don't dig into my kidney budget. All right. Kudos. That's very nice to hear. Nice positive thoughts.
Thank you.
Love it.
Thank you, Easter Bunny. The time being 8:08, I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, don't go anywhere.